we're working. Right, let's talk. Let's get into it. Let's start. Now, for FPX and JDG, the thing you have to remember about these two teams is that for Fun Plus Phoenix, they're the World Champions 2019. Like, you should know this already if you're an esports fan. For JDG, this is a team that in spring with Imp, who you should remember from Samsung White in 2014 Worlds, who eventually won against Royal Club, is that like JDG were this team that constantly pushed against expectations. Spring 2019, they made finals against Invictus Gaming. With summer, we're kind of expecting like a similar run. From memory, they didn't even make playoffs. It was casting so much, just went in one ear and out the other. But let's start with FPX again. I think it's always good to touch on like the team that we know most about. When I did the VOD review of FPX and Estars the other day, the one thing I kept on saying was that FPX and Estars was a matchup that shouldn't have been hyped, shouldn't have been exciting, but it was. And that was due to Estars being so good. FPX, however, were running with, for the majority of the start, Khan. Gimgoon didn't play at all. Khan played every single game up until this point. And then last night, suddenly, we got Gimgoon. Now, I am one of the few to say this, but I rate Gimgoon over Khan purely because of his ability to absorb weak side pressure on the map. And because FPX constantly don't play to their top lane, then I thought, well, Gimgoon, you know, it might look like he's not the greatest top laner, but he absorbs pressure. And that's what makes him so good, right? That's what makes him so good. Excuse me for a second. That's what makes him so damn good. Gimgoon absorbs pressure. Now, Khan is a very different beast. And when Khan was on the team, there was a lot of topside priority. And TN was focusing a lot around the top side of the map. And Doomby as well. So their roams, what they were known as was a bottom side focused team. Their roams suddenly became top side focused. So there's a really big shift in gear here for FPX. And I think when we saw Gimgoon last night, you'll see today, there's actually that shift in pressure towards Gimgoon. It's either like they've changed the style towards Khan and how the team's going to be running, or it's simply just a change in playstyle in general. And, you know, even with Gimgoon, they're willing to go to the top side of the map. Now, for the bottom lane, a lot of the time, they draft themselves winning lanes. So they draft bottom winning lanes, and they draft versatile lanes on the top side of the map. Excuse me. Because if you have a winning lane bottom, and Misfortune and Leona, a lot of the time, like the Aphelios, Nautilus, you know, Crisp has been playing Blitz again. You have yourself a pretty dominant map if you know how to play it, if you know how to control. So we know about FPX, Gimgoon, TN, Doomby, LWX, and Crisp. Gimgoon played all of this series. We did not see Khan. Now, there are some rumors that Khan is actually stuck somewhere in quarantine. That's what they're saying about everyone, though. So I'm not 100% sure about that. Let's continue forward. Let's go to JDG. Now, JDG, the reason this series was so good is they were at the top. They were undefeated. They had never dropped a game and a series until they met FPX. And last night, the reason this was so cool was because I think that... Oh, hello. I think that Loken, and especially Loken, I'm not sure about Luma at the moment. I think Loken's having, like, really nice performance. Like, Loken really, really is, right? Yagao, Kanavi, who was just such an average jungler last year, has stepped up. I mean, this is the Kindred. Not one trick, this is just the big Kindred player, right? So Kanavi has a diverted champion pool. When you look at the junglers in the LPL, and you look at 10.4, because that's what the LPL's in right now, what do you see? Right? You see Lee Sin. We see Lee Sin, the Sejuani's returning. Even people are playing Zac. Like, we're going more towards tank junglers or Rek'Sai, the heavier bruisers, right? While Kanavi is playing a crap load of Kindred. That is his pick, right? So, oh, we got a bot. So, the thing about Kanavi is, like, it's so damn nice. It's so damn nice to see some diversity in the jungle pool. And that's what makes this exciting. So, eye on Kanavi's pick and the Kindred that you'll see in this series. 705 is here because apparently Zoom is in quarantine as well. So that's not great. So 705 is, for those of you who don't know, he was on IG Young, the team that won the LDL in 2019 summer. And that IG Young roster, I don't know what happened, but I feel like that was the one that was meant to promote. Instead, we got Estars, which was a bought out spot. I'm not really sure what happened in the end, but I'm glad he wasn't punished for it. Whereas he didn't get an LPL spot. So 705, good shit. This guy is a top lane, mostly like Aatrox kind of Renekton. You see Mordekaiser, Ornn. So he's just playing the meta picks right now, yeah? So that's pretty much the lowdown. Again, not a color caster, so I value everyone's input. You want to throw some things in, go for it. Be my guest. I will be reading chat during the VOD review as well. So Zoom had a really good start, so it's kind of sad we didn't see Zoom. But yeah, let's get into it. Reminder to you as well that, throwing that away, this is where we're at the moment. JDG were on top of Estar, and it's funny to see Estar actually first, because JDG were 4-0, they had a 100% game percentage, which now no one has. And for FPX, they were 0-2, they were bottom. They were bottom with Dominus. Above Dominus, because they have 2 individual game wins, so yeah. Let's do this. Alright, so now that we're in 10.4, we can talk a little bit about draft. Now, not having pick order here and the value of having the English broadcast sometimes is getting the English broadcast from the very start. Because we are using the Chinese broadcast, it is going to be starting in awkward places just because that's how, sometimes it's just how it goes. We need to talk a little bit about what we mentioned there before, which was, as I press play here. No, we need to listen to a bit of Teddy. Give me a bit of Teddy. The Chinese casters Teddy, remember, were fantastic. So first thing you want to pull out here is a priority, and Lee Sin is the first pick here for FPX. Like, that is quite incredible shifting gears. Even though Tien is a Lee Sin, like, what else? He was like a Lee Sin Kiana abuser for quite a while. I kind of expect that Tien would be putting the priority on like the bottom lane first, because you look at what's available here now. Senna set ban in 10.4, and because we can now kind of comment on it, like Senna is the S tier. If you haven't seen Yamato Cannon's video, it's a very, very good video on like the priority of Senna and how she fits amongst many roles. Now Senna is an 80 carry, like no longer viable, right? The Senna Tahm Kench bottom lane, it was seen in the series before, the first series to open. Senna Tahm Kench was just like, it's just such a good lane, because you know Senna's ability to abuse the wave. Also, her soul collection is insane. Like, you have 100 souls by 25 minutes, or even like as close as 20 minutes. Set is just all around busted at the moment. And then the Rek'Sai on Tien as well is another good point, which we saw before. Another champion that he likes to abuse. So, yeah. Most curiously, Yagao demands a Zoe ban. He's one of the few in the league that actually demand a Zoe ban. And Elise as well. Elise and Olaf, 2 junglers I didn't mention, like priority in the jungle for Kanavi, right? So his Kindred's open. So there was a special type of composition that JDG were actually running this whole series. Like, they were running a simple protect AD comp. I'll show you what I mean. Yuumi Bard, like, I love these support bans. The Azir again towards Yagao. So, like, very specific mid lane picks that they're taking away from Yagao. There's the Kindred, right? 2 hard ADs, 2 really good front lines. Okay. The Ornn's a must as well. Like, so you've got your double AD. And then the way they round this out will shock you. It will kind of surprise you. Whereas FPX, again, it's like that style we talked about with E-Stars, where it's very much around the objective and the first and second dragon, like Rumble, Misfortune, you know, Aatrox, the Lee Sin Rakan, like the ability to engage and spread and like really just put people into a corridor of your own making and then execute. Whereas look at the space provided here. And there's something when you tune into the LPL on the very first day, and when I do color casting, the thing I'll talk about a lot is space created. Because that's what JDG do with this composition. Look at the space they create with their front line and with the shielding and movement speed that they give to their AD carries. So here for Yagao, it's more about building that first AP item, getting some damage under his belt so he can try and like push back in this lane and kind of even out the matchup a bit. Because, you know, Rumble will always shove. Rumble will always harass. Like, Electro Harpoon is one of the most underrated abilities in the game because of its cooldown, 2, the damage that actually comes out of it. And Yagao will not have the shielding to deal with that. So, again, talk space created, right? You have an Ornn, you have a Braum. Both those ultimates create space and allow JDG to pull back, reset, and go again. So, compositions like this with double AD, with a shielding support mid, but also the ability for like to even out the AP that is lacking in JDG, I think is quite a fun draft, but they do try to do this all 3 games. So, this is something I'm going to talk about with my 2 colors. That's right, there's 2 colors here now, but it's not Clement. So, yeah. So this is, to me, is a really fun composition because if you're Loken and Kanavi, you have so much protection, you have so much support, but it can really easily go wrong if this lane falls behind. Right? When this is the pillar, when your front line's like the Ornn against Aatrox is a losing matchup, right? Then you also have a matchup that's like, I would like to talk more about the Rumble Karma interaction. If anyone has any input onto the actual interaction, because my thought here is that Rumble can trade in the wave, but Karma's AoE kind of matches that. But I would assume that Rumble in this matchup kind of pushes back Karma. But I'm not sure. I think that's one we'll kind of answer in game. I'm just going to make sure before we do get into game. Are we okay? Yes, we are. Okay. Sweet. Alright, let's go in. Thank you, Teddy. Teddy on the right. Remember on the left. I'm going to turn the sound up as we go into game because it's fucking hilarious. Hang on. You hear that? Yeah, you can. Yeah, give me that 240p. 480 would be nice. Can I have 480? You gonna give me 480? Come on. Hey, China net. My favorite. Dude, my favorite. I mean, nothing should really happen with that jungle interference in that lane unless either mid takes a huge misplay. Thank you. Good point. You're right. Nothing should happen in that lane, should it? However, if I'm just talking about simple lane priority, I think it's easy to punish. Maybe easy to punish as a Rumble. Anyway, Blue Panda. Fair point. Alright. Where's the Gyos? Where am I? Where am I Gyos? Hang on. I have to think about this. Hang on. Oh. Okay, right. Sorry. We had to really think about that. Did we not?
京东这边应该是要进的，千珏是直接带了红扫描出门。这把比赛有5个征服者，好吧？
征服者 OP 啊，是没啥说的。这个
Did they not gyro?
你很难去瞬间把洛给晕下来。
Did they not?
来了，比赛开始，这是我们。
Maybe they do it in another game. Anyway, look. On with the show, eh? Okay. So, jungle starts. Let's talk. LWX just walks out of that. He starts W, which is no big deal. I mean, it means no immediate heavy trading with the double up in lane, but that's okay. I had a chat about this with one of my colors yesterday. Notice the rune on Doomby. This is super rare to see. Now, I did talk to him, and I said, not Doomby, but I talked to my color. And he said to me, that it's super hard to use because of how hard it is to proc Conquerors. Now, you would think Conquerors is easy, but DOT, remember, is 1 stack a second. So Flame Spitter running for 3 seconds approximately is 3 stacks. Auto Electro Harpoon is 7. So So to me, that's more than a rotation, right? Because Scrap Shield doesn't proc it. So already the biggest question in my mind is Rumble with Conquerors and Domination second is a big move. Is a big move in my opinion. Like Karma's gonna go airy. Look, Kindred with Conqueror, like Q auto. That's not too hard to get off. And everything else is pretty standard across the board. I know you can't see this bottom right where my mouse is. It's just Aphelios and Brom, pretty much standard stuff. But the Rumble with Conquerors, if you want to try it in solo queue, go nuts. And give me your thoughts. But from someone who, you know, has like put it into the practice tool and tried it, it's just, my color's right. Like, it is hard to proc it. Really is. So, red buff invade. Now, JDG, a lot of their games, they just invade. They either go through river or they go through bot side. JDG just invade. The spirit of China is with them, you know? The bloody spirit of China. Right, it's hot in here. So, you see Tien goes up towards blue side. They're fully aware that it's a red start invade here from Kanavi. So, vertical jungling. Now, in cast, I'll talk a lot about vertical jungling and what it means. Think about the reaction from enemy top laner, enemy bottom laner, and think about, like, who benefits the most out of this. Right, now, if you've got a vertical jungler, it means that mid is going to be pretty stagnant, right? As we said before. Like, mid access is available to both. What you'll notice is, let's talk warding for a second. Let's talk a quick bit about warding. Rumble doesn't have the best time with keystones. He doesn't, but I think that Comet, for the ability to poke and harass in lane, is by far his best at the moment. Doomby in the past has played Predator Rumble in 10.1. So we've got a mix of keystones. Remember that Doomby, like, it's Dark Technologies, right? That's his namesake, where he will experiment with both champions and keystones and builds. Like, this dude should have been on the old Snake, part of the Mad Scientist. Let's talk quick warding. Now, obviously because it was spotted out as a red invade, you're not going to expect the Kindred to go towards red, but early ward there anyway. And Doomby has what? Does he have lens? No, okay. So ward place returns to lane, doesn't do that lens swap, which is important as well. So straight to blue, from blue to red, from red to blue for Kanavi. But Kanavi is going to have an easier time, ability to proc the Gromp camp while he's doing blue as well. But suddenly when all is said and done, now we come back. So that early ward from Doomby was actually put there. And because of vertical jungling, that gives him space. Kanavi lenses, but instead of lensing into the brush, he walks up and tries to get behind Doomby. Doomby just walks up towards his jungler. And JDG respect that there is no vision towards top side. They know there's a vertical jungler in place, and Tien could literally just be there. Even though they have ward on Raptors, his ability to wrap around is still there, so they don't take it. Who do I think is winning tomorrow? Estar will win tomorrow. Estar will win the split. Okay. So we go from a mid lane gank to a bottom lane dive, right? Now, set up in the top position is Tien as well. So, he starts backing. Let's see what happens when they see Kanavi. Teleport. Okay, Tien just backs. They don't try to make anything mid. Instead, Tien is just going to walk bot side, but it's going to be too late. Or is it? Lumao just walks up. But almost pays for it. Doesn't have to flash. So walks up, tanks first. Loken gets his damage off. He has Severum. He has his Q. Easy kill. Really good balance of aggro. Because Yagao comes in just as Lumao walks out. Kanavi flashes out. Yagao hits first. And Loken's aggro is timed in between Yagao. So that's just a really nice dive. And that sucked. They could have telegraphed this play any harder, yeah. Like from the draft, this is what you would be expecting. Yep. I mean, look, like, you have early shove. There's priority for Kanavi with vertical jungling, like, and then obviously come back to the point where vertical jungling for Kanavi feels really, really good. So after all said and done, like, Doomby comes in, right? Walks forward. Now Lumao saved his flash. I don't know if in all that chaos Doomby thought Lumao didn't have flash, but either way, like, just looking for the greedy play from Doomby. Tien finally comes down, gets one, and walks away. So that's, I guess, a recovery. But still, after all that, like, JDG, really nice bot lane dive. And you're right, it's super telegraphed, it was nice, but it was just a clean performance, like a really clean dive. So already, like, you got a mid lane that's ahead, excuse me. You got a mid lane that's ahead. It's hard living in China when the air quality that's coming out of your heater is probably not the best for you. So already, the Kindred and the Karma that I talked about as well, accelerating these two ADs. One of the ADs is already ahead, in a way. And the supporting mage is in a very good position. Right, and you talk about these dives, like, this should consistently happen against FPX. And for a team that's so bot-side focused usually, you would expect FPX to up the tempo here, right? So Tien goes to the Raptors he knows there. He's already taken away the mark of Kindred. Another important fact when you're playing against Kindred, right, is denying marks. It's so simple, yet a lot of people kind of go past it. And Tien goes in for it. He's not going to die here. But Kanavi's got skirmishes versus a longsword. Yeah, we fight again. Oh, crisp. Okay. Well, Yagal's not at a point where he's going to be any useful. He's doing, like, a bit of damage, but Lee Sin in with a longsword, like, boom. Lee Sin early damage is so disgusting, you know? Just early trading, right? And Crisp gets a really nice knock up onto Lumao. Essentially can't stand behind me, can't put up the door, and he can't start stacking Winter's Bite. Only gets it onto Crisp, but it's late. So, from what was like a bait in, Kanavi goes for a deep trade. Crisp roams up. And then Kanavi's put out by a bad position, even though he has JDG with him. So, and like, they lose Lumao as well. Oh my god. So, FPX really pulled him in. And Chris roam was like really nice. Like Chris roam timing when the wave was at a point where LWX had the push, where Chris could roam up essentially for free with no vision in river. And Lumao was already there. But at least in trading, I would take over Kindred at this point. Also, you know, so much for a chase of just bullying out Tien. Resetting and getting back position at that point was just so damn hard. Okay. So at this point, what do? We started out vertical jungling. 10 resets, goes and peeks Raptors, pulls back Kanavi, and he gets a double kill. That's a very big Lee Sin. And now, as always, it's about how he influences lane. And we talked about our stagnant lanes. We talked about our winning lanes for FPX. Like the Aatrox versus Ornn is doing okay. It's ult for ult in the trade. Kanavi was topside, but was he spotted? He was spotted. Kanavi spotted. He pokes his head out just enough to get vision. FPX immediately, the response is Dragon. In fact, it looks like TM was already doing it anyway. Yeah, TM was already doing it anyway. So it's just confidence in the play. So, 1,000 gold, Cloud Dragon. Excuse me. And Kanavi, the natural response after not getting anything top, go into the enemy jungle and start clearing. Tien looks like he's going to contest it. But Blue's still there. Gimgoon gets vision. Clears out the deep control ward. Blue's still there. But Tien is also on the bot side of the map with a pushing bot and Caulfield's Warhammer and skirmishes. So Tien has full control of the bottom side of the map. So that's his blue buff for now. And then I like the... You talk about confidence in play. So remember what I said before, like Rumble's ability to trade through wave, and I know this is more than just a Rumble, but this is more about like FPX knowing their numbers. And then Doomby walks up, so that's now the gold leader's really just influenced Doomby. That was a nice dive, a really nice dive. So one more time, let's just look at the setup, right? Now, if you're JDG, sorry, I don't know what's wrong with my throat this morning. If you're JDG, you know that Tien is most likely on the bottom side, right? You've gone for the start of vertical, or re-entering of vertical jungling after positioning around the top side, looking for Gimgoon. Horn used, Kanavi goes in, Wolves returns back to his own side of the jungle, but still on the left side of the map. And then we go to a point where, okay, Tien picks up his red. He's level 5. Yagao stays for a little bit too long, but some good trading back onto Doomby. But, of course, like, Yagao has no summoners. Yagao has no summoners from the previous fight. So Tien's also punishing that. So not only is timing great, but it's knowing the strength at that time. And now the lead is influenced. Doomby has a 20 CS lead. He shoves in mid. He already has Sork shoes. He also has a kill now. He's got a blasting one. So, remember I said it looks like this composition is really built around these two ADs. And the taking and the shielding and the support they have from the rest of JDG. If they lose Yagao and if this Karma still falls behind, remember, like, even though she can go into a cheaper item build, like, this is the start of what is, okay, are we going into Hose? Are we, like, what's MR? Is that Athene's in the making? Like, Yagao still needs, like, that, he still needs this, plus the soul lane experience for pure levels, plus he needs the gold that comes out of his wave. Now, he's already behind, but the Karma falling behind, I said, feels like it's the detriment of this comp. And even though in reality it's Kanavi falling behind, like, that looks like it hurts more. Yagao's a big part of how their mid game quells it out and moves into these spacious team fights, right? Because I said it's about creating space for JDG. And they can't really do that if their Karma means nothing, and if also Kanavi is so far behind. Alright, 10-6. He's pretty much okay in farm. Doomby is massive. So he's now clearing out Raptors, so he should. So he's really being efficient with his time. And although JDG owned the top side, it's being set up for either a top side gank from Tien, which I believe, no, he hasn't been spotted out on. He hugs the wall, hugs vision, and he hasn't been spotted. Misses Sonic Wave. Oh no. Okay. So while this is really cool pathing, it's like, is he spotted? No, he's not spotted. He hugs vision. Does Kanavi see him? Because Kanavi's in the back of the pit. I don't know. I don't know about that one. I'm not sure that Tien was spotted. But either way, like, good timing of flash from 705, flashes towards the rest of JDG. And Kanavi already started this one up. And JDG just rotate, like 9 minutes in, 9 minutes flat. Bot lane rotates top. We see this a lot in the LPL where the bottom lane will consistently move up towards top lane. Not even for a lane swap, just purely to help secure this Herald at 9 to 10 minutes every single time. Whereas like North American teams and LEC teams, you'll see a start for the Herald and then you'll see the call for the bottom lane. Whereas in LPL teams, they will make the call as the bottom lane change lanes. So like the call will be done because the bottom lane moves and they have everyone there. LPL teams look for a fight around Herald instead of just securing it. So Tien used kick. Kim Goon used ult. Two big factors that let them get the Herald for free as well. Plus, let's look at where the bottom lane of FPX was. They move up slower. They move up from bottom lane. And you get up in zone. So, equalizers available, bullet times available. But Tien using kick, Aatrox with no ult. Big factors, right? Alright. It feels like another big win for JDG. Remembering this Herald, what gives more space than killing turrets? Right? Also, they need some gold back on this Karma. They need some gold, or at least on the bottom lane. So what I'm looking for right now is like the vision in River and the moves Tien makes towards Kanavi when Kanavi's spotted over vision. So he's gone over 2 wards now. He's found a control ward, he's clearing the control ward. Scuttle's done in the middle of River. So bot lane pulls off, lets a wave shove in. Tien's down here. Doomby doesn't make the move towards Dragon though. He goes towards the mid lane instead. So Doomby's simply worried about shoving. So they don't care about this mountain. Like, Tien wants to threaten, but they were never committing to an engage there. Oh my god, Tonasu! Thank you, sir. Hey, I've been back for a while. I appreciate the sub, my man. 14 months. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, I have returned. I've been doing VOD reviews for like 4 days straight, except for yesterday. We're looking at FPX and JDG because this was the best matchup of yesterday. They never committed the engage. They never wanted to. Also, double Ruby Crystal. They never wanted to. And then that's part of like... Kanavi right now has caught up in this game. Now, he's not to the level of Tien, but it's still a Kindred who's got level 6, who now at this point with Warriors starts becoming an issue and really, really hits hard in those skirmishes. So he's starting to contest Tien's position a lot more, but the one factor that they don't have is this Rumble. Oblivion Orb and Blasting Wand. And because you got Sork Shoes, the mid lane is an issue here for JDG. And Karma has gone support build. Remember, cheaper build, Karma is still quite efficient. But because this composition relies on how the Karma goes, plus how Kindred can fit in, remember, shielding, tanks, ADs. Like, this is a comp about the ADs and how the rest of JDG can facilitate them, right? You've been busy as hell. You love seeing Rumble into low pressure mid like Karma. He's gone Conquerors as well. I talked about this at the start. How Conquerors is like a really niche rune for Rumble just because of how hard it is to proc when you think about it. Like, Electro Harpoon Auto Flame Spitter will give you 7 with the full extent of Flame Spitter hitting your enemy. So, I'd love to see the stats of how much he actually procs it. But, or gets to max stats, I should say. Because it's not totally inefficient. It's just getting the full 10 stacks is just maybe not the goal. Vision from FPX has been really, really good. This whole game has been about control of vision around Kanavi. And then something as simple as like a red buff take that just kind of accelerates that. So Tien has triple buff available. Lumao's pathing here is super dangerous, but it's more about Loken. They force out the bottom wave. They know that there's going to be a play with the Rift Herald mid or top. When does he Rift Herald? Now. Oh, what's the call? So instead of a bottom lane dive, Tien and Doombi just head back. The Herald didn't give any gold, did it? Oh, gave some to Kanavi? Gave 240 to Kanavi. Because Loken just wasn't in range. Right. That is a cheeky yoink, isn't it? Right. So we're at a point where a composition that is built to contest these objectives is ramping up. The Ornn in top lane has done pretty well, I will say. Like, keeping up in CS with the Aatrox is in a matchup that people keep saying is Aatrox favored, but Ornn just wins so many, or not wins, but Ornn just stabilizes so many matchups that he shouldn't, doesn't he? He doesn't really act like a tank a lot of the time. Out of range? What is out of range? Out of range, yeah. Loken was out of range for the turret. So, alright. We're doing a lot of pausing in this game because, again, like, let's talk vision. Look at the river, and a team that really roams so much. A team that's just so active on the map early. You know, people say FPX are the G2 of China. It's like, no, G2 are the FPX of Europe. The vision control in river and the denying of vision is always just so magnificent from FPX. So, there's just so much freedom on the map. And while the gold lead doesn't look like that much, well, it's only 1500. FPX are just, they're really heavily snowballing. This guy right here, the Morello's first purchase, yeah, probably not my favorite. Not against this team especially. But, there you go. Let's influence. Yeah. As Teddy said, really nice ult. I heard Fei Chung Hao, and that's all I understand. Nice ult. Doombi is just accelerating. There you go. Second Herald to FPX. And to JDG's credit, responding on the other side of the map. Did LWX just get that? Maybe not. Vision choke for second rift, yeah. If Ornn isn't behind, he is ahead. So Herald mid breaks turret, right? That's fine. Tien gets the gold. How much did he get? That's a nice cheeky 300 gold. That's a kill. The Lee Sin, who's almost got Black Cleaver at 16 minutes, just got another kill. So, not a game for turret plating, but a game that's really been opened up towards the top side for FPX. But remember, what I said about this composition for FPX is its ability to play around objectives and really choke out JDG. While JDG, if they can play with the space on the map, they can outlast these fights against FPX. So, I love this brush for an Ocean Rift. Just pisses so many people off. Dragon taken by Kanavi. Nice steal. Both level 9, by the way. Both level 9. I don't even know what that was. I'll see if I can pause it just in time. Nope, I can't. Let's assume 10 HP. Okay, chokes. But what I noticed about this fight is that the Doombee's ult is committed as Tien has to kick out Kanavi. The kick lands onto 2 in the backline, but look at the wasted equalizer. While Ornn ult zones off the 2 in the backline, Ornn's dealing with them, right? And then Kanavi just ults. So far, execution in this fight, FPX, right? Doombee is MVP of the series. I agree. Hello, Knowledge. Welcome back. Lee smited for the Q execute, and Kindred smited after the Lee smite before the Q landed. Right. That's a lot of words. Ah, right. Okay, now I'm with you. So, Doombee's ultimate, which is like the pinnacle of this fight, is used on the support. Now, he didn't know that. He thought it was Kanavi's going to be there. But that's Tien kicking out Kanavi. Imagine the ult on this. Chris gets a nice engage. Really nice. He flashes for it. Whether it's nice because he should have or not is not the point. It's just a nice engage. Imagine the equalizer on this spot. Then the rest of FPX have the opportunity to turn because JDG are just in such an unfavorable position. So, whether it's Doombee pulling the trigger on the ult way too early, you could argue. There's bullet time right afterwards, and the bullet time damage kind of brings it back. As well as just Doombee pressing Q. Look at this. Ready? Q, Electro Harpoon, AoE, and Gimgoon. So because FPX are so accelerated at this point through their jungle and mid, they get away with that key ultimate not doing anything. With LWX getting a suboptimal bullet time that kind of just ends the fight. Gimgoon's in a good position. It's an Aatrox in an engage and like a small choke like there as well. So even though ultimates weren't utilized properly from FPX, it was just simply their level of damage just outclassed JDG in that fight. The Aphelios is not going to be anywhere near the misfortune at this point. Yagao doesn't have the shielding power that you want from your Karma for these fights just yet. And like, Kanavi doesn't have that much damage yet. So, Ocean Dragon at the cost of 1. Now, after everything's used, sure, I think that's not bad for JDG. But what's happening is this lead that is accrued in the mid and jungle is now spreading to top. Now the Aatrox has a kill. Now the Aatrox has a lead. You know, Misfortune is in a good position. Their ability to snowball this game from here on is getting scary for JDG. 4k gold lead at 19 minutes. And it's these silent leads. Mid lane CS, kills in jungle. Bottom lane CS, top lane CS. These winning lanes that JDG now have to deal with. And look, JDG want to slow the game down, right? JDG's goal here is to slow the game down, get this, Karma towards a third item, towards, you know, like, level 16, so you have the RE that just pisses people off. Where the Lee Sin starts becoming less relevant, his lead starts dropping down, where Rumble gets to a late game where he can't really do much to the shields and the, you know, against the damage of Loken and Kanavi. So, JDG's goal is to slow this game down. Now, how do they do that? Right now, they're getting toggled out with vision. They're getting hard shoved. Loken will sit mid. And I'm assuming Yagao, will just sit top lane and try and deal with the Rumble still. But look, still this vision that hasn't been cleared out by JDG. Like, Yagao needs to do his part and go looking for vision. Now, does he have lens? Almost. He backs without using lens. Okay. He listened. He went and got the control ward. Because it just makes the game so dangerous playing around this FPX vision, you know? Like, there's nothing you can do when you push out as Yagao. You can press E, but Equalize is probably going to slow you enough. Tien's going to come through, he's going to ward hop and you're dead. So Yagao pushes out here. Now he can do that at this point, even though with the vision, is because Kanavi and Lumao are able to get the shove topside. Sorry, push in for vision. But FPX have control of bottom, and that's where they need to be. It's Ocean Dragon, it's an Ocean Rift. If Ocean Rift goes to JDG, their ability to delay these fights, and remember how I talked about longer fights? Like, I really would not want to give an Ocean Rift to JDG, because I sound like a dead record, but a comp that's built around the 80 carries and facilitating them, Loken becomes unkillable, Kanavi becomes unkillable, with that ultimate as well. Thanks, Tanasa, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Look, I will be color casting the start of LPL. I legit. So, we need to start learning. We need to start really getting into it. You have to be in Shanghai for 14 days before entering the LPL studio. And unfortunately, Dagda, our color caster, hasn't been here. He got here a day late because bloody Ireland decided to have a storm for him. You know, they wanted to celebrate his return. And instead, they just annoyed him. So, I'll be color casting the first first day of the LPL. So I'm kind of excited. I've never done color before, but I have so much love for this game that, like, I love trying new things. It's a challenge for me. It's really a challenge, and I've been putting a lot into it, and I'm hoping that it shows on cast. I really do. But sorry, returning to this anyway. We're not going to look too much into this. JDG securing vision around the Baron. And you've got double TP on JDG. So, I mean, right now they feel comfortable that they can pretty much hold these waves. This is such an aggressive move. Not really one they have to make, in my opinion, but it's kind of good to see JDG still, like, pressuring FPX. And remember, the more they take away from FPX, the more they can stop this game flow. Yeah, keen to be back on the mic as well. So if JDG steal away camps, for example, like, okay, well, that's less gold going to Tien, to the Lee Sin, or the Rumble. That means the game slows down. So it's also taking risks to slow this game down. Is okay. Obsidian Cleaver for Kanavi, first item, by the way. And with all the work they've done to secure vision, like, I was just criticizing them before, but their clearance of especially just top side vision, because bottom side was regained by FPX. Look, this is all the effort to secure topside vision. You see no one going through, because your jungler's up there. You feel confident that you can push this wave, and you can walk down river towards a scuttle crab or towards mid again, and you're fine. But they path in through topside, and JDG make a good move. So, really, really clever pathing. Then they turn it into a fight. Nice call of the Forge God. And Chris was like, holy crap. That for JDG is their biggest moment. That just slowed the game down so massively. Look at the death timers. If they get this Baron, FPX are like, holy fuck, we have to do something. This relies on the 3v5. This is like such a big play. First auto upgrade went to Kindred. They're relying on the Kindred to win mid to late, of course. That was a beautiful set of pathing from JDG. Vision clearance towards the top side after Doomby was just simply shoving out top wave. You feel safe there because your jungler's there. Then they capitalize and LWX gets caught. Both summoners gone. They start up Baron. And like Kanavi just jumps over. Now, from watching this game live, here's what I don't like. They stop Baron to go for the kills. after a team that is just... Like, Tien flashes, right? Now, Tien's gonna die here. And Teddy and Remember are enjoying themselves. They're dead. He's dead. Right? Bye. Get some gold. So while this is not like the worst play, like he gets a massive shutdown onto the Kindred. Hitting the Baron there and using Lumao to zone and then maybe turning, I think is just so much more impactful. And the Baron here for JDG that was pretty much free is... And for a team that does Baron relatively quickly with an Aphelios, Infinity Edge, Essence Reaver, and Obsidian Cleaver on the Kindred, I think there it's just the optimal play is to continue with Baron. But look, this was really nice pathing. Yeah, Lumao, good old. And then... Look at 705, man. This is a guy who's playing in the stead of Zoom. Predicts the flash. Because he's aiming for LW. He doesn't care about Crisp. Oh my god. That's a thing of beauty. 4 Kindred stacks at 25 minutes. They did a good job of shutting him down early. Yeah, I was saying before, like, Tien was really good at pathing around the marks. And again, it's about that vision denial, like knowing where Kindred is, so you know that you contesting the marks is not going to turn into an unfavorable 2v2 or 3v3. So, even though I think Baron was the play there for JDG, they've still managed to slow the game down, just like they want. There's a Rabadon's almost done on Yagao. There's an a Molten Edge, sorry, on Loken. So JDG coming into their stride. They've shortened the gold lead. They've kept it at a pretty even 2,000. And we're at 26 minutes. We're towards an Ocean Soul where JDG already have won. They're 2 dragons away from securing that. So this is really good play from JDG to slow down FPX. Now, they have to keep this at a nice pace. Because FPX... They're aggressive warding here towards the top side, and Baron, this is what they want. Teleport from Karma means threaten Baron. 705 doesn't have TP, he's pushing out top side, but he's nearby, right? Now, what started them with the teleport? Karma backs. They see the Lee Sin bottom side, they see 3/4 members bottom down here, right? So they take a while to rotate. So Karma teleports just to get into position to threaten Baron, and also for JDG to re-establish control around the pit. Now, does this mean they're giving up Ocean Soul? Yes. However, Soul's not there yet. I mean, Ocean Dragon, sorry. But in that time, what's the shot calling? For a move that I thought was really smart, FPX are not willing to face check. There's a good ward right here. And there's a... Is there a ward in pit? There's a ward in pit. So for JDG, it was a threat around Baron while Ocean was up that JDG could burst it or rush it, right? And there was no Aatrox teleport as well. That's right. So wrong side of the map for FPX, but they were there for Ocean Dragon. While JDG threatened Baron, but they didn't make the call. FPX have this ward in the left side of pit that hasn't been cleared. And a ward here that spots for the mid lane gank. So again, warding just trumps over JD. Well, warding this time trumps over JDG. They get the mid lane track, which is okay. But these are all suboptimal plays that JDG... are making. That's right, they should have just taken the Baron. They should have threatened the Baron. Remember, space over these, like, the objective and the ability to play through River. For a Karma with, you know, the Rabadon's death cap upgraded. I forgot what it's called, upgraded. For a team that just now has the even amount of gold. Because the best thing about Ornn is Ornn upgrades items, right? Who knew? Okay. But the upgraded stats give you extra gold. So you're down 2,000 gold as JDG, but that means nothing. That means nothing because you haven't upgraded. You have the extra 40 AP on Rabadons. 45, 40 AP, 50 AP, whatever it is. The Infinity Edge extra damage, the Black Cleaver extra stats, the Abyssal Master Sunfire Cape. That's worth more than 2,000 gold. JDG have a gold lead this game because of Ornn. So these guys really kind of slept on the Baron threat that could have put this game into a nullifying state for FPX, where they would just be forced to... Well, what are we at? To force to hit like the 1-4 from JDG and wouldn't be able to deal with like the 5-man down mid. So I don't like what JDG are doing. They lose every side lane matchup right now. They just need to force an ARAM. Well, yeah. It's the Baron play. So I don't know what the Mercedes thing is there. That's new. We also have the Dota graphs coming as well, apparently, which is cool. So we're just back to a nullifying state, right? Where we fight over vision for Baron, but FPX as usual. They got a ward behind the pit. They got a ward here. Lumao hits a ward. Gimgoon comes in for the flank. 705 has TP, but Gimgoon's walked here. Loken flashes into a wall. He fails the flash over the wall. Crisp goes into the back line, and there is the equalizer with bullet time. So that's half health immediately gone. 705 comes in, but he's too late. Look at Loken's positioning. The failed flash sucks. Lumao tries to jump to him. Gets stopped by Crisp. Crisp quickness onto Lumao. And no one can face Gimgoon because Gimgoon's just been farming all game long. So, call the Forge God. Wasted. The failed flash, Crisp, equalizer bullet time. This is how they play chokes. It's really important in League of Legends to look at who plays a choke better, because with the ultimates in League, compounding onto each other, it becomes even more powerful, right? And you play passive. Yeah, I know. Even when JDG were in such a good position. So, look, here we go. Here's Kindred. Here's Kindred. Loken. The 2 ADs with Karma, right? This is what should have happened before. But they lack their front line now. They lack their front line. So, Kindred is fucking huge. Like, still, like, this Kindred is doing a lot. Your Gao shielding with Ardent, with Athenes, heals him up. Loken as well is large. He can't get his Severum Q off. It's another big point. And LWX gets a triple kill. If they had the full 5-on-5 in River, they win that. Well, you're right. Slow bleed out begins. But not just that, like, with FPX, accelerating this game was always good for them, right? Like, it was always good for them. But, he burned. Gimgoon just burns to death, by the way. LWX 10. Excuse me, large members. Alright. So, FPX again in the driver's seat. If they had that full 5-on-5 in the river, it was great. The Baron fight, the ADCs, with the ADCs' positioning. They need to not be on each other's heads, taking so much splash damage for free. That's right. And look, if you have Infernum as a Phelios, I mean, that's the danger for FPX. Like, that splash damage in a fight, especially to fight like that, is crazy. Now, look, FPX in the replay, because they won that fight, they went and got Ocean Soul. So that, again, for JDG, they needed that Ocean Soul to really, like, win over these fights. And even though with the tank frontline here and a full 5-on-5, I think it's competitive. I think with the Ocean Soul, that kind of just... that just ruins it. Alright, engage from 705, doesn't land. He gets a 3-man knock-up. Kanavi's autoing. Oh my god, Kanavi. Holy fucking Kindred, man. Dude. You know what was big there? We'll slow this down. Chris with the engage again. Tries to stop Ornn. Equalizer only hits Loken in the backline. Lumao supports him. Yagal's there as well. And then they fight front to back. Tank line there. And Kanavi just he's like a fucking assassin. Look at this Kindred. Oh, Gimgoon's trying. Dude, that's what happens when JDG fight at 34 minutes with their tanks and their Karma. Kanavi is that late game threat, right? Quick call. No worries, man. Take your time. So JDG, like, still with the Ocean Dragon, JDG won. Because they fought their best fight yet, a simple front to back. Okay, kick's not available for TN. He has to flash. I'm not sure what's going on here. Kick comes through. But hang on. Doomby survives. Equalizer. Oh my god. Oh, I remember this. Equalizer saves the game. LWX comes and saves the rest of it. And LWX is quicker than Loken. So is Doomby. Do they kill him? No, they get out. They get out. But that's a really good defense from FPX. And then this. So instead of backing, they decide to path back into the base. Right? But you know this is never going to work. As soon as you appear in that base, FPX back. Because they could have ended. Yagal shielding and Loken's damage is enough to end. But now because of this play... they lose 2 members in the face of Baron with 50-second death timers. So that is throwing the game. For what was an attempt to end, they walk so far into the base and then don't make the call. Like, they could have probably 1v2 Doomby. Maybe. Maybe. Ocean Dragon was already given up. Ocean Soul, rather. And then Baron's given up. And then those 2 walking into base essentially just gave the game on a platter to FPX. This team with Baron, the side lanes that Tanasu talked about before is huge. But instead they just walk at mid. Because they have Equalizer. And look, Lumao is so far down. They push out the lane so far. Crisp is fast. Equalizer. Now, Kanavi's ult's great. Don't get me wrong. But 705 runs out of it. He tries to flash last minute. And Gimgoon gets resets. He can still die. It doesn't matter. Kanavi's going to try and 1v3. If he doesn't get hit by Crisp, he 1v3s. So everything was put up on a whim. Let's talk about shot calling. Shot calling is important in League of Legends. And sometimes, when you make the wrong call, it can literally ruin the game for you. Loken and Yagal going for that base race lost JDG game 1. Very easily. Very, very easily. And that's a shame. That's actually really sad. That's really, really sad. So, after what was such, like, good team fighting to lead them to that advantage, to push into the base and almost end the game, JDG tried to rinse and repeat with 2 members and just throw it out the window. So, not more you can say than that, but I really like JDG's comp. I mean, they do it similarly in this game as well, except you don't have that shielding support in the mid lane. Instead, you put the Ornn there and you bring in the Mordekaiser for a bit of one-on-one threat. I'm going to get a drink of water and I'll be right back. Okay. So, first things first, it's time to turn the heater off. Cool. Who thought I would get hot in winter? Not I. Rightio. Hello. Now, key learnings from game number 1. If you are going to play a composition that excels around the mid to late game with 2 tanks, support mid, and 2 really strong late game AD carries, threaten the Baron, and don't muck around. Don't look for the pick off the back of it. I mean, killing Tien there was okay, but goddamn. Anyway, shall we continue? Game 2. Now, I'm probably going to lose my voice at the end of this. Just because I never realized how just talking normally hurts your voice. Looking at the bans again, I know we don't get to see the full pick and ban. I mean, this is an issue that I have to find out how to fix. I can actually just look. Let's just do Game of Legends, though. Is it in here? Is it in here? It is. Let's do this. Can we all see? We can all see. All right. So, let's do Game 2 pick and ban through Game of Legends because YouTube's not giving it to me. May I have a Game 2, please? Thank you. All right. So, let's look at the priority for FPX. They are constantly banning away Zoe from Yagao. And priority ban against Kanavi, who was really heavy on the Olaf. Now, they don't look at Kindred as a problem. And I agree. I think it's more about what you pair with Kindred. That is the problem. And also, Yagao on Zoe is a menace. So, if you look at the side of, I'm going to assume these are the first 3 bans. That makes sense. They're not first ban worthy. Set and center for blue side, because FPX are on blue side once again. These are standard bans at the moment. Set and center are must takeaways. S tier picks. S plus tier picks. And then the Rek'Sai, right? And so, Rek'Sai is, like, for Tien, the ability to dive and look for 4v2s, either bot or top, just accelerate with Rek'Sai. Lee Sin does that well as well, but Rek'Sai is just a big priority for FPX and how they move with their compositions. So, they have gone for the Aatrox first pick. And to me, that just symbols that, like, okay, Gimgoon's ability to play a potentially weak side top lane is there, but also Aatrox right now is still just in a pretty comfortable position in my opinion. So it's a really safe blind top, and FPX always save counter for bottom mid. Now these are not in pick order. This is not in pick order, which is kind of annoying. So I'm going to assume we got builds. We have builds. No. Huh. But, hang on. Does it give me in build order? If anyone from Game of Legends is watching, it'd be really cool if you gave it in build order, but I'm sure that's a paid feature. Look, we're not getting anything out of this. Let's go to this. What's up, Affectionate? Welcome back. So, I'm going to assume pick priority again was on Lee Sin. First pick Lee Sin. They're doing Kindred again. Yagao this time is Ornn mid instead of 705 on Ornn. And he's picked more of a champion with lane presence against the Aatrox. We've got Aphelios, which FPX do not mind giving over Aphelios. They actually prefer Misfortune in the matchup. And to be fair, like, Misfortune into the bottom lane matchup a lot of the time comes out of it ahead. Of course she should. It's Misfortune in lane. Doomby back on Rumble mid. See what he takes. These two are having fun. Wait, we're gonna hear the gyros this time. Wait.
训练赛这个千珏效果一定是不错，Kanavi一定有打出 C 的表现，然后围绕着千珏去搭建剩下的内容，用了
你来帮我吧也行，
然后再来参加最后的5v5。
No! Why does that button exist on my mouse? Hang on.
不帮我没问题啊，我也打我自己的。
我会发育到打团的时候呢。
Yeah, Fasting Center has hit LPL.
然后再来参加最后的5v5。
I'm sorry.
好，我们进入到了第2局，召唤师峡谷现场 观众的加油声，大家可以在家里面啊，在屏幕面前
翻
喊出来
plus，
加油，
翻 plus，
加油，
翻 plus，
加油，喊1声就行了，3声对吧？
一般都是喊京东，
加油，
京东
哦，京东那个林海小哥那个机器声。
Teddy remember doing the Jayos, fucking classic. All right, okay. Yeah, fasting center has hit. The center time Kench lane. Unfortunately, I like this invade path. I really, really like this invade path. Let's look at it again. Are they spotted though? Hang on. Oh, they're spotted. They're spotted. Okay, I don't like it anymore. Okay, this is 100% level 1. And look, I don't remember seeing the start of this game. Yeah, okay, here we go. LPL, baby. Ooh, Death's Grass start. Jesus Christ, hang on. Okay, not much more to say. You verse 280 carries with essentially 2 tanks and a bruiser at level 1. They're gonna have more damage. So LWX gives over first blood to 705. There's some quality banter, yeah. That did go well. That went epically well. So FPX kind of just threw the game in the bin. But yeah. And then Tien resets. He has no flash. Gimgun has no flash. LWX has no flash. No exhaust on Crisp. Ignite, TP, and flash for top. That's all that was used. So summoner advantage immediately. Boom, JDG. And because we got Kanavi on Kindred again, like, we got the same conditions. JDG have a very similar composition. It's only the Mordekaiser that's moved out. Now, remember, it was Brom last time on Lumao, but Leona in a way facilitates the same thing. It's peel and engage for JDG. It's also the ability to give that space for the 80 carries of JDG. LPL, baby, how much I've missed you. Well, don't worry, I'll be on the first cast with Munchables. We're kicking it off on the 15th. Me and him, 3 series. I can't wait. Ah, that's not sarcasm. I'm down. I'm fucking excited. So Spellbook Gorn is pretty normal. Doombee's gone for Conqueror Rumble once again. I didn't see him proc it unless it was a fight. Like, unless it was a full 5-on-5. I never saw him in trades actually proc it. But it depends on the Electro Harpoon, right? In lane. Dude, Kanavi's all over Tien again. He got blue, but then he pathed backwards. Maybe he's not all over him. No, okay. So he predicts that Kanavi will try for the tri-buff. Because he saw the blue buff start. And then with that early start, because Kanavi has flash and Tien doesn't, he goes straight to blue, then he passed backwards all the way to his Raptors, and then I assume Krugs or mid. No, sorry, Scuttle. So Tien has just avoided conflict with Kanavi, but Kanavi does get the first Scuttle, first mark because of it. Oh, he hits it as... Hang on. Okay, so he makes the call. He makes the guess, right? And Scuttle is right in front of him. Seems kind of air. Doombe overheats, crucially. Good trade, but Lumao's here. So Lumao, the best roaming support in the league, he was once called. Straight to mid. He has boots, Crisp doesn't. That was kind of sloppy from Kanavi. Unfortunate maybe is a better way to put it. Okay, they get Yagao. Yagao is not dead. In fact, I think Crisp is dead. Never mind. Let's just fight. Yeah, okay. Doomby comes back in. Has he died already? No, he doesn't. Oh god, Kanavi's so close. What the fuck is happening? What is happening? You guys want a replay? Let's go. Start from step 1 where Kanavi flashes for Doomby. Doomby then walks in. Right, Chris gets the tank. That's not ideal because Yagao has enough mana for a Searing Charge. Stun from Lumao's great because he uses Zenith Blade. And then Searing Charge, double knock-up. Only because Chris has Guardian, I feel like that gives Tien a bit of an edge. Yagao flashes over as Sonic Wave lands onto Yagao point blank. And then he chases it up. Now Doomby comes back in. Kanavi tries to punish. Red buff almost kills Doomby. He goes to 8 HP. Crisp then gets the knock up. Doomby can't follow up with damage. Nor does Crisp have hook. But LWX, he didn't have flash, so he just walks towards Tien. Gets the double up onto Yagao. And Tien's damage helps out. So Chris going in for the re-engage, that's okay. Lumao does get him. No, he doesn't. Tien survives. Sorry. But the damage from LWX and Tien. So that is like... Kanavi burned so many flashes. And they're on the wrong side of the rift. So it's like the level 1 invade just comes back and it's like, oh, JDG this time are going to try it. They're on the wrong side. They have to use so much to get back over to their friendly side of the map. Tien doesn't die. So Loken comes in with a flash. Doesn't get anything. The wave bot is pushing hard against him. I'm not sure if it hits turret. I don't think it does. But now the Misfortune and the Lee Sin are back in the game. Misfortune who got first blooded by top. The Lee Sin who was flashless as well. Really got a lot done. I am ready for the clown. When does the official LPL English casting days? Leluche. It is on the 15th. So 15th, 16th, 17th, I believe, are the first 3 in a row. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Saturday, Sunday. I believe at this point it's either 4 or 5 days a week. So either Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. And we have a new caster coming onto the team as well, who will be announced, I'm hoping. So we have 4 of us here. Yeah, a famous coach. Pog. That's our little secret. That stays here. So after that, Aphelios no flash. Lumao no flash. He has Ignite again, but suddenly, almost everything available on LWX. Crisp doesn't need flash, has exhaust. So now this lane has kill threat. Serious kill threat. Right? Probably did before. But in a lane where LWX got killed early, lost a bit of CS, they're in a better position. Now, on early wave clear with Q, always nice, QW. They walk bot and spotted on the control ward. Now, this should be enough. Tien is shadowing. I think Chris wanted to go for a hook. Didn't really respect the position of Lumao. Misses the hook. And Yagao's level 6. Doomby's not here. Look, Doomby's mid. Doomby shoves out mid instead. Now, mid has reset. Doomby can actually just roam down. I think the play here is to roam down immediately. Call the Forge God is used, but they're so far down in FPX's jungle. And they can't get the damage onto Crisp. And now the kid, they really fear the counter engage here. And Doomby coming down after clearing that wave. So we get to nothing. So no ult for Yagao. That might not change anything. I mean, Tien's still down the bottom side. It might mean that Dragon gets delayed as to what a play could have been. Exciting, thank you. It is exciting. Alright. Chat, are we ready to learn? What do you do when you know Ornn's ult is off cooldown, but Doombee's is not? You threaten the objective that JDG were trying to pressure with the kill down bot side. So you go to Dragon. And even though Kanavi's here, the issue that JDG have to face is that Doombee's ultimate wins them a fight. LWX has 6. Aphelios does not. Now, no one's really helping TM, but he's fine. He has Safeguard. So that's a free Dragon. Yagal's simply just pressuring because of the Ornn damage early. And also because Kanavi just hit 6-2. But that Dragon is a result of JDG trying to make the play bot, trying to make the dive bot. And forcing an engage. So cause and effect in the LPL is the biggest thing. I'll pause it right there because this is a really important point. In the LPL, cause and effect is everything. You can literally... You can make a play on the top side, and because that top side use TP, like that one summoner, it's like, okay, we know there's no TP top side. We can make this play because with our calculations, the damage here or the engage is missing. Ours is better. We can get our top laner down here. We threat, cause and effect, right? Now this is very simplistic. This is very simple concept that you'll see in other leagues, but it's always utilized in the like the top 10 LPL teams where cause and effect makes games. Infernal Dragon taken. Cause and effect. JDG didn't get Baron. Now, the cause is because of shot calling, and the effect is that FPX were able to find a fight, keep ultimates, hold themselves, get picks. JDG did make a mistake, but then it's also like they got Ocean Soul. They denied a big win condition for JDG in game 1. So, it's a really simple concept, but I think it's something that doesn't get talked about enough, especially in this league, where cause and effect makes games. Misfortune in a decent position after the early game. I said that before. Tien is it should have a bit of a gold advantage. Actually has the damage over Kanavi as well. And remember that FPX are first picking Lee Sin, but the beauty about Lee Sin is that the simple interaction is Tien can just kick Kanavi out of his ult. And that's something I didn't mention in the first game, that for FPX, they're so happy giving away Kanavi's, before we get into this engage, Kanavi's Kindred. Because they know that after banning Olaf, banning Elise, the desired direction from Kanavi, and especially with the way the comps are running, which I think FPX had a great read on, is that Kanavi is going to pick Kindred here because the comp allows for it. But Lee Sin himself can really stop it. Now, Doombee's just going to get caught out here. It's after walking with Tien. Lure him out in a really difficult to read position. They're saying bot's missing. How long ago was it? Bot just reset. Aphelios comes down, so you don't expect that Lumao. Well, he walks up past a ward. He walks up. And you think, yeah, he's just clearing vision towards... No, I take that back. You should know that he's there. Yeah, you should know that Lumao's there. So Doombee plays more towards the bottom side of the map where Crisp and Tien is. Hits Scuttle. And then after clearing the wave, just takes a really, really greedy path. Because that's control water by Kanavi. I mean, this is just a mistake from Doombee. Super greedy path to get back to lane. Call the Forge God. Good dodge. Solar Flare flashed away from. Geez, JDG playing super aggressive. Speaking of cause and effect, Mord QSS tax is going to be huge this game. Yes, it is. QSS tax for any Mordekaiser game is massive, but like, yeah, especially this game for sure. Alright, well, Gimgoon in Death Realm, so he should die. Yep. So that's a solo kill from 705. Hang on, sorry. 705 just solo killed Gimgoon. So that earlier kill onto LWX is just paying dividends. Plus, the Mordekaiser in lane against Aatrox. I mean, he's the biggest side lane threat now. He's 2-0. So already you just lose that. Now, any other team would say, alright, let's try and force bot, let's dive bot, right? Crisp and LWX move mid. It's 10 minutes in the game and Rift Herald's still there. So they're moving up the Herald anyway, despite that solo kill onto Gimgoon. They have a numbers advantage, a disadvantage, sorry, but Aphelios is spotted in the bottom lane. So the AD carry, that one of the elements that's made to put out damage in these fights is not there. You know who's here? Doomby. You know what he has? Equalizer. So the layering here is nice, but the problem is that not everything goes according to plan. Instead of kicking them immediately, like, Tien holds on, he doesn't kick Lumao. He saves it. So, does he save it for Kanavi's ult? He does. The damage doesn't come through because she's in the Lamb's Respite. Chris gets a hook onto Yagao, which actually I don't think does much. Actually does fucking nothing. Could have actually been horrible. Bullet time does a bit. Damage onto Lumao. I think the target there is Kanavi to force the ult out. Forced it out much earlier. And then they're all walking out of the ult. But Lumao keeps engaging. So a 1-for-1 trade, but it's jungler for support. And Lumao survives so long. And yeah, a Fed Mord 3-0, right? He comes down. So even with a 4v4, Equalizer and Bullet Time were almost aligned, I guess. Kick saves so long for Tien. And Kanavi's ult, like the Kindred ult, is just so annoying to deal with. You can kick her out of it, sure, but the ult stays there. CC doesn't stop Lamb's Respite, and nor does it mean anything, because Kanavi, the damage he takes is the initial kick, not the end of it. It kicks people back and does a bit of damage to them, sure, but Kanavi survives because there's no damage done, because he's in Lamb's Respite at the time. So it is like a nice little counter to get her out of it, but you need follow-up. You need the follow-up from the rest of FPX. And because they couldn't get through River because of people like Yagao and 705, the kick means nothing. So instead of just securing Lumao early, which the kick I feel like would have done, there's just such an elongated fight which JDG naturally wins. So Protobelt now, well, that was nice. Good reaction time. Does that hit him or not? I don't actually think that hits him. Looks like it touched his nose. So I don't think it hit him, but that was still nice, right? And they're just doing it again. Look at the layering of CC. Oh my god, poor LWX. Look at this. So already that just looks nice from Yagao, right? So JDG in good form this series, by the way, apart from a couple of things. Over the wall, Yagao is level 10. And just through levels, this guy's tanky as hell. Plus he has a Catalyst, Negatron Cloak, and Doran's Shield with Ninja Tabby. Knock up. Good CC layering. Yagao gets kicked back but doesn't hit Lumao, so Lumao can Zenith Blade in. Tien safeguards, otherwise he's dead there as well. And the layering of CC, LWX doesn't even land before he dies. So that was just a really clean pick. And JDG with a much stronger early game this time around. It is based off that first blood over to 705, but it's also positioning around these fights and catching out FPX as they're rotating. Like, you know what LWX is doing here? They're doing Krugs. This bottom lane's doing Krugs, but they know there's a rotation here. You don't expect Yagao to come over the wall, though. Into 4 people, I mean, that's crazy. They have no vision. Yagao has no vision here. He's just like, let's fucking go. It's a really ballsy play, but a smart one at that, because Yagao knows how tanky he is. There's not enough damage right now from the Misfortune. Doomby has the Haunting guys, but that's it. These de-accelerated lanes in the early game mean that Yagao can make that play. Means that Yagao can go over that wall, you know? So, already almost a 3k gold lead. They get Mountain because of it. That Ornn is in love with that small amount of 6%. Because even though it's not a Mountain Soul, it's still like, those stats matter. Cloud Rift here means that, okay, Aphelios, I guess. It's not the greatest for for JDG. I'd say more so for FPX. The cloud is a really big deal for them. But their ability to control through these like parts off the river, through this pick down here, the fight up here. They've upped their vision, and it's easy to say when they have more control, but they've really put more focus on vision this game. Like already double lens, Doomby on mid. You know, control ward priorities up there as well. Sorry. Double lens from jungle and bot. And just look at the control towards Dragon. So FPX go to clear it out, but Rift Herald's there. Plus Scuttle in front for the mark. So Kanavi's going to change here because the mark 100% takes priority. Smites it, and he gets the Herald anyway. So Kanavi this time has 3 marks in 15 minutes. Now, Tanasu in chat before was saying that the marks on Kindred in game number 1, it was 4 by like 25 minutes. What a massive difference for Kanavi when he has his solo lanes in such better positions. When he has control around the river because of this early game. Like 705, look, we've got our Dota gold graph now here, right? 705 is 700 gold above Tien, a Lee Sin who has 2 kills. Above LWX, who's, you know, apparently more fed than Logan. That's because he's got a kill. So 705 is in such a good position. And a guy that's replacing Zoom for the time being, while Zoom is stuck in quarantine. You couldn't ask for someone better. Best LDL top laner, IG Young, superstar, 705. Taking over the grassroots of 957, I reckon. He just got a solo turret, by the way. So, that gold... Well, hang on, sorry. Kanavi helped. He didn't even use Herald. Kanavi still has Herald. So, Kindred is going to be huge. That's right. But this Ornn as well. And the value of having an Ornn who's so far ahead. Not only is his base damage exceptional. Remember with Ornn, like, he's just such a nuisance as a front line. Sometimes he feels like a fucking assassin. Like, this Ornn already has his item upgrade. He's level 12. Ornn is level 12 versus Doomby 10. Ornn is level 12, and Crisp is level 7. Like, the AD carries are level 10. And Mordekaiser's level 13. Like, what the fuck? These solo lanes for JDG are massive. And that bullet time was used way too early as well. So, this is a turret. It was going to be anyway. But this Rift Herald charges forward. And with mid lane priority, JDG then moved to the bot side, looking for the last outer turret where Ornn is. So you can see this is quite a predictable play. There's a control ward there. There's a control ward there in red side pit. Lumao goes to... Sorry. No, he puts one down. Excuse me. They spot Tien and Crisp out at red buff. LWX is coming around. Doomby's here as well. Now, Doomby's ultimate here is what brings them back into the game. Again, I say the Rumble ultimate. 100% Kindred's going to get first Ornn upgrade. Again, yeah, it's going to be Black Cleaver. Now, even though for JDG this is really punishing and accelerating the game and trying to punish FPX, who, you know, will not outscale JDG this game. And like last game, JDG outscaled, right? Just look at what Doomby has. Leandri's Torment, level 11, so that's a level 2 equalizer. Now, Ornn has the magic resist to deal with this, but Kanavi does not. Lumao does not. Aphelios does not. And technically, 705 doesn't either. So, stealing red doesn't work out. Goes to LWX. So, the threat right now from FPX is that equalizer getting on at least 3 people in a very small space, and then LWX layering his ultimate. Like what we saw before, but the smaller the space, the easier it is for FPX to engage. Equalize used on a mini wave. So that's anticlimactic, isn't it? That's really anticlimactic. Big thing is vision as well. JDG have been doing aggressive warding since that invade, which has allowed them to force their solo lanes. Yes. JDG haven't slipped up on vision for a moment. And that's what you see out of some of the better teams. It's the consistency in denying vision, most importantly. Because getting vision is fine. But a lot of these teams, like you watch OMG from last night. Who else? Like LGD at the moment. Like Rogue Warriors. Like they'll get decent vision. But denying vision from them isn't really a big deal, is it? Like, yeah. It's not something you see all too often. But in better LPL teams, you do. Right? You do. I'm going to put this on because it's now apparently cold. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand China at all. Okay. Just going to make sure I didn't screw my desktop audio. No, I didn't. So, what are we left with? We're left with Ornn sitting in a side lane. They get Dragon. And FPX, their decision right here is, let's try and force top. Let's try and force around Baron. And while everyone from JDG are simply resetting and backing, this is not a bad play. But remember, 705 can just ult this. He's got his ult. But holy shit. Do they let him use it? No. Let's watch the CC chain here. Q. Infernal chains. Doesn't pull him back. Crisp hooks. Silenced. Knock up. Kick. Pulls Doinby into the death realm. And by that time, so much damage is already done. Like, even though this goes, like, let me just say, sometimes you watch FPX and you just go, they're just on a different level. Simple plays like that. Layering of CC, that was just great. They're going to lose 2 turrets for it. They lose 2 turrets for it. But they have to start making a play somewhere. They have to start doing something. Because they're just going to get shut out. And that was super clean. For the point of just highlighting a play, that was clean. And if we talk about optimal plays, obviously it wasn't the most optimal because FPX, like, lost 2 turret spot. But they got something. They got something under Doinby. Now, Doinby here is waiting for Scuttle. And that's an easy punish. That's a flash that shouldn't be burnt. When you have control ward top, control ward in Pixel, you feel safe. But they have no deep vision to predict who's actually coming towards that Scuttle. And remember now that JDG are taking things on timer. Especially Kanavi. He's taking camps on timer because of how fast he clears. Plus of how far JDG are ahead. They're maximizing their resources on the map. So that means that Scuttle is never free. And that's kind of like a... I think that's a... an expectation that FPX shouldn't have, that Doinby was able to pick that up, but they wanted to pick it up on spawn. Crisp hasn't made a decision yet. Goes in, pulls back out. TP's going to be engaged. Now, wow. Let's frame by frame this. Immediately flashes. So that's fine. Hey, that's a flash for flash in the end. The elongated play. Call the Forge God is down. But they still cannot... Like, I would not fight this. I'd wait for the Infinity Edge on LWX at the very least. But... Okay. So Doinby has no flash after that play, right? And so after all's said and done, JDG still have river priority, and it still means vision around Baron. There's no way that, like, for FPX here, because they're about to start Baron, for FPX after that play, they move back to their side lanes, and they clear out wave. Gimgoon has teleport, but they have no vision on this just yet. They see them walking towards Baron. No, they don't. They don't even see that. Now they see them on Baron. Ward's cleared, but JDG keep it up. JDG is still doing it. If we talk about optimal targets for Crisp, he needs Kanavi. And so, here comes the predicament. How do you get Kanavi through this comp? How do you hit these 80 carries? Because not only does Tien counter this, not only does Crisp counter this ultimate that really makes the game for JDG, but their ability to get there is just so damn hard. And like the blocking that comes through. Like look at this, even 705. They block for Loken, right? They look for the hook. Chris doesn't get it because moving any closer and he dies. So Gimgoon teleports in a position that's given up by FPX. FPX rotate around the back of the Baron pit, give up this position that's heading towards Baron, and they have a TP to flank. So Gimgoon right here is left alone. Solar Flare flashed away from. Here comes Forge God. Now that hits Doomby. That does nothing. But Yagal's so tanky right now, it doesn't matter. Crisp doesn't want to hook him. He wants anyone but Yagal. Hook. Gets Yagal. Knock up onto Doomby. Doomby walks up. Like his positioning this game is really interesting because for an Electro Harpoon, he turns around. Instead of just, if he keeps walking, he's here. And he's out. He doesn't get hit by Yagal. And, you know, maybe they turn. Equalizer comes down as a really defensive maneuver. And that Equalizer is out of the death realm. So he can't kill 705. So Yagal, 705 flash ults Doomby. Doomby gets the Equalizer out just before, which is good. But the Equalizer itself isn't. Tien goes in, defensively goes out, hasn't kicked yet. Bullet time does nothing. Infernal Chains will get Lumao. But this is just such a hard fight when your Rumble is getting caught out in the front line, when 705 is just too damn big to deal with. And so there it all comes down to one play. Teleporting in from Gimgoon was just not in a great place. FPX give up that position. And it's good for JDG. Their target selection here and who they're going to hit is just perfect. Like, they decide instead of going for the rest of the fight, they get Gimgoon. They don't let him have the flank or the impact in the fight that an Aatrox normally has. So, Call the Forge God was really nothing. But they turn for some damage on Yagal that's really not going to matter. Doomby, Electro Harpoon means he's in range for the Searing Charge. And then 705 just flash ults him. And then that's the end of the fight. They've got a numbers disadvantage. Bullet time they can just walk away from, which maybe disengages the fight a little bit by FPX. But JDG got everything. They got a perfect timer for this Cloud Dragon. And it's fighting within these windows that, for FPX, is just never going to work for them. So, Kanavi, by the way, 5 marks at 25 minutes this time. But they've just been fighting so much that I'm not sure how many marks he's actually gotten from champions. But, anyway. So, these last 2 fights have just put FPX into a pit. Really put them into a pit. 705 is unmatchable. No one can touch 705 in the side lane. Especially not Gimgoon. He has no MR, by the way. Like, at this point, instead of going for something like a Hex Drinker, or even like a super defensive fucking Spirit Visage, which we've seen as like a 3rd, 4th item on some Aatroxes to enhance that healing through World Ender. We see a Death Stance. We see the core item built first before any defensive item. Now, the Merc Treads will do nothing against this Mordekaiser. 705's grouping doesn't have TP, and because Baron is the next play, 705 sits mid. Wave clears, and this 80 carry and Fed take mid, start up Baron, bait in FPX. Remember here that FPX has no vision towards this Baron, right? So, already FPX moved themselves into an unfavorable position again in the exact same spot. This choke that leads into the river to Baron is the exact same spot where Gimgoon got caught out before TPing in. And Yagao is unkillable. So for them to win this fight, that's what it takes. We see the best combo of this duo iteration that we've seen this game. Equalizer in the choke. Because FPX play through this spot well as well. It's just that they're so far behind that their impact is really not there. Equalizer down in a great spot. Yagao is zoned out. He can't step over this because as Yagao was showing us before with his item set, he's got a bit of MR, but the Liandry's and Void stuff nicely cuts through that. Plus, it's only one item of MR. I don't know the stats. I'm not a pure color. If you want to work it out for yourself, go nuts. But Doombee's ultimate does do a decent amount. Crisp is the one who gets put into the death realm. I'm okay with that. But 705 re-emerges, and now he has his stats. 705 is fucking huge. And all the damage that's done from LWX and Gimgoon. It's just about to get healed up. Are you ready? Watch him press W. There it is. So that was the one of the best combos, right? And then Tien goes in with a nice kick, but Kanavi times the Lamb's Respite perfectly. And I don't even think... You know what's bullshit? You know what's really... If you're a Lee Sin main, Twitch chat, you tell me. Because that feels like that should hit Kanavi. And maybe he doesn't get the ult. He probably gets the ult. Because he preemptively does... I don't know. That should hit Kanavi though. And that doesn't hit Kanavi. That's annoying. That's annoying. Whoever you are, that's annoying. Whatever Lee Sin main you are. You think, what a kick I've just done. That should kill Lumao as well, by the way. Is it because Aphelios' character model is just so thin? That sucks. That actually sucks. I'm not sure if the Lamb's Respite comes out. You guys tell me what you think. But that kick should have done a lot more. And then Tien's just on the back with Kanavi fighting 1v1, which Kanavi eventually kills him on. This frontline fight, like Loken rejoins it as well, and maybe Loken doesn't get to join it if that kick actually worked. But they survive with minimal amount of health, and that's the best combo of FPX. You know, for what we wanted to see. Tien doesn't have kick, otherwise Kanavi's dead. And that's unfair. Alright, Kanavi gets out. Lumao doesn't die, and 4 of them hit Baron. While FPX straight off mid turret, so... That looked like the best fight possible for FPX, and from here on, I just don't think they're ever going to get that again. 7k gold lead. And... Now... JDG with Baron, just channel it down mid, right? Solar Flare was used on himself, I guess, thinking that Tien was going to go on. Kanavi's quite large as well. How many stacks does he have? Guess we're not looking. Also, Cloud Soul's up. So, what do they force out? They use a couple of their ults. Tien uses his ult once again. But with so much control anyway, they were always getting this. So, that's a Cloud Soul denied from FPX most importantly. And then they just walk mid. And then here we go. Look, Yagao now has a bit of movement speed as that Orn. Alright, Call of the Forge God is... This game has just been used simply to zone out. Like, there hasn't been... There's been maybe one. Alright, well there's the fight. Oh. It's Kanavi who gets hooked. He hooks him not only through 705, right next to him. Like, talk about a hitbox there. Oh my god. In front of the minion for a glimmer of a second. Silenced, knocked up, equalized, dead. Lumao's caught out as well because his jungler's right there. 705 takes Crisp into the death realm, which doesn't save his carries at all. Kickback is Loken, and Yagal's the tank, right? So Yagal might do a bit of damage, but he doesn't matter. 705 gets the support and has to TP out of there. That Crisp's hook. That was sick. That was fucking sick. And that brings them back into the game. Now, we all know how this result goes. But that was the perfect layering of the ultimates. 705 ulting Crisp. I think LWX was the right call. But remember, LWX has QSS. And so does Gimgoon. So the QSS tax, even though it's a tax, also means that his options ulting are very limited. Who else is he going to use it on? He's not going to use it on Leona. Well, he might, but that tax, you know, sometimes it's okay to pay tax. He uses it on Crisp while he doesn't have QSS. And now with Baron gone, JDG can still push this actually. I mean, it doesn't matter. Even after that fight, they've got so many losses of fights to go before FPX come back in this game. Kanavi ult, a pain to deal with. He'll still die, but turret's now gone. Doombee's dead. And Aphelios. Yeah, they can just flash forward. Look at this. I mean, look at this. Look how many shurikens he has. Holy shit. There's a Quadra. And they're just so far ahead. While it wasn't another pretty good engage, flashes all up because JDG haven't really had to use them. And then Loken, just the hidden OP this whole game, gets his first 4 kills in one fight. And they give him the pent. Yeah, alright. Look at this. JDG so kind. They give him the penta. He gets 5 kills that game, and they're the penta. That's it. So, again, like, let's talk early game just before we go into this final draft. Let's talk early game. The reason JDG was so much better that game is because their early game accelerated like that. They got LWX first blood. They killed LWX for first blood, and 705 on Mordekaiser was just set from the get-go. And then, because of that, because of some really good pathing from Kanavi, they punished mid. They took some early fights where FPX were kind of unprepared, and the target selection of JDG was really good. So, that was a much more impressive game out of JDG, and they really should have had game 1, and it should have been a 2-0, but they just really failed to game 1 they really failed to make up their mind, and game 2 it just felt like their early game was just so much more decisive, you know. So that's really good. Does anyone have any questions or any comments before we go into game 3? No? Okay. We move forward. In this last game, let's just do a bit of housekeeping. Remember so far that JDG have played one very similar comp. Aphelios Kindred, both times. And even on blue side, Aphelios Kindred, right? Yagao has gone between Ornn and Karma. And Lumao is playing his third support of the series. He started Brom, went to Leona, now he's on Rakan. But we're seeing the same basic concept, where if it's not a tank, it's a true support that gives freedom and space to JDG. Where for FPX, they're so focused around these Dragon and Rift Herald fights, the objective control that FPX know and love, where their early game accelerates them and snowballs them. They're playing their composition that they can dive with if necessary. So, two very different identities in the team. Where for JDG, like even though around objectives they can match FPX, it's more about that mid to late game transition where they become unkillable because to get to that backline is impossible. Even with like Aatrox, Gragas, or whatever, and even if you hit that backline, they've still got safety with Kindred ulti, with Karma Shield, and etc. Right? So, in this series, your Gal never gets Zoe. He gets priority ban Zoe every single time. More taken away from 705. Senna, Nautilus, yeah, okay. We're just taking away the Senna on blue side because no one likes Senna. This is just going to be a... Are we got a misfortune already? What do we have? I thought it was going to be Kled. So we've seen a lot more Silas in LPL. Something that you guys, if you're watching LEC or LCS, will not know is that Silas, at the moment, is actually getting prioritized a little bit. Now, this is last pick towards the Karma. But Silas jungle in Scrims, in the Scrim League that we just came through, was really, really heavily prioritized. So, alright. Let's go in. It's Teddy and Remember finishing us off. Let's get their Gyos. Wait for it. Let's go.
就他没有说不带武器特效的。
而且你知道这件事情，就是说这个二匪流是大招，其实前摇很
Oh my god, I hate
那你如果丢出来的时候，
Come on, YouTube, grow up. Let's get
对吧？他的主武器是什么副武器
Here we go. Give me the Gyo.
奇怪啊，我现在应该要有解说小伙伴，我手机应该要响了呀，
对啊
就是应该要有人给我们场外救援啊。
我也没收到。
我们导播我们可以call in 嘛，对吧？
我之前好像也收到过。
I wish I could understand them. They're having so much fun.
是那个现在
四兄弟的
比赛，我想了想，大眼睛看一下，就
觉得咱俩会不会？
I don't think they're doing game too. Okay. Alright. Anyway, that's disappointing. So Tien on Gragas, another champion that facilitates FPX well as always, right? Tien has a very set champion pool that enables him to dive bot or top or make roams with Doomby. Gragas with Predator, of course. Lee Sin, Rek'Sai, Elise. Those four are always in rotation in his champion pool because of his ability to love diving. Kiana, when Kiana was viable as a jungler, was also in there because it was just so easy to execute bot or top lane dives. Tien Gragas start on Raptors. Now, no deep wards placed for the first time, but we got a really defensive ward towards blue side jungle because of Kanavi's like want to vertical jungle pretty much through this whole series, hey. Let's turn him up a tiny bit. Kanavi has been vertical jungling like this whole series, right? Or wanting to, I should say. But this game with the Silas, with the Gragas, like, with the priority that FPX have shown in towards the top lane in both Scrim League and this series so far, I wouldn't be surprised if we just see that top lane set up again. LWX and Crisp kind of getting put on a bit of an island so far in the LPL. And I have to say, it's like, it feels like it's an influence of Khan coming into the roster and FPX changing their dynamic. Defensive ward put there from Karma, but I mean, the Gragas is going to do a topside clear. Kanavi knows that. It's Predator Gragas, so topside clear is natural. Krugs are gone, ward spotted, but Kanavi doesn't check to see where he's backing. On the corner of vision. And so they know that ward's there. So this is just unlucky from Kanavi because Tien backs in the corner of vision that they cannot see. Right? The corner of vision. And so that ward's spotted, so they know Kanavi's topside. So Gimgoon is aware to this. So Gimgoon is aware that this is happening. Now, not that there's anything he can do about it, but not good. Really not good. Flash from both top laners, a trade kill. Gimgoon has teleport, he doesn't lose much. He picked up a kill in that Renekton matchup. Renekton will have to take... Well, no, Renekton will walk to lane, most likely. Yeah. Right. And Tian already backed reset and moved towards the bottom lane, while Kanavi still has to go towards his blue. Scuttle is free for Tian. It's the mark as well. And because of that top lane dive, Kanavi's now set behind and doesn't have his mark available. And the clear continues from Gragas. Now, it's not the super end of the world, but Doomby TPing here. Tian able to move to the top side. He can threaten double scuttle. He can threaten double scuttle here quite easily. But it's more about, does he want to? Yeah. Yeah, he fucking does. Alright, I should never doubt myself, should I? Color casting rule 101 for me to learn. Never doubt yourself. I love that TP. The TP is like right as that ward's expiring. Doomby threatens Kanavi. Slows him down. Instead of going straight to the scuttle, Kanavi's looking for information about where Tian is. Now, they know Tian's there. Do they? Maybe he doesn't. No, because Doomby with the teleport threatens the position of Kanavi. So Kanavi can't path and check if Tian is doing Raptors. So Kanavi has no information where Tian actually is. But there would be a suspicion, right? He hugs the wall up in this bottom right here on the minimap, you can see. He hugs the wall into Pixel Brush, so he's not spotted out onto vision. And then Kanavi on vision loses Scuttle. Has Smite, but doesn't think he's being contested. So all round, really smart play here from Tian. Now remember the change in Silas that you guys might not remember is that now he stacks 3 of the of the Petrocite burst, if that's correct. So it just means like heavier trading and the ability to use your abilities up front more, and then still have the 3 autos. So Tian is very far ahead in the jungle already. He got double scuttle, he got both of his buffs, and he's just spent more time in his jungle, right? Now, very far ahead, I shouldn't say. He's decently far ahead. He's about a camp and about 2 camps up. And because of all this, remember chain and effect that I talk about in game number 2. Tian now is on Dragon. Is this spotted? Yes, it is. But they know, they put a ward ping there, and they know it's spotted. But luckily for them, bottom lane just reset. Bottom lane just reset from JDG, and so with that timing, they now put priority on Dragon. Gimgoon respects the cross-map play from Kanavi, and if there's going to be a dive again, because 705 has Dominus. Gimgoon has World Ender, but like against these two, still with Dominus, Aatrox wouldn't be confident here. So 705 gets a bit of turret plating. He has a lead here. And when I said before that Gimgoon getting that kill over Kanavi was bad for the Renekton, he's obviously not going to lose the matchup. But the kill evens out that gold distribution that's gained by 705 getting CS. So even though he's 20 CS up, that kill kind of balances it out. And so a lane matchup where 705 wants to dominate and use Kanavi to pressure topside is so far not going as expected. So in that time where Dragon goes down, what's the play for Kanavi? Instead of going for topside, the threat's there. He does at least push off Gimgoon off of the wave with the threat of the dive. He then goes into Raptors, takes away the big Raptor, leaves a couple, which Tian can just reset. But Tian still has a big CS lead in this jungle. Tian has Predators and has prioritized the amplifying tone for the cooldown reduction and the extra damage in this early part. Now he's back to his second clear of his Predator start. So we all with me? Like right now it's Tian dictating the shots, and Gimgoon's respective top lane has been pretty stellar. So Gimgoon in this matchup, look, he's caught back up in CS. And it was that big wave crashing against top turret that put him behind. But He was able to clear it out. The wave was slowly pushing against him. And then caught up. And Renekton, they know Tien's top side because they literally... They know that Tien would come and clear Raptors, right? So this is like a very big 500 IQ game, isn't it? Which I've just pressed 0, and apparently 0 brings me back to the start. Where's my 500 IQ? No, we're too far back. Okay. Sorry about that. I do that a lot. I've done that in every VOD review. That 0 brings me back to the start. So Gim gets to shove out the wave a little bit. Now, 7:05 after catching this wave will still be 10 ahead, or a little bit more. But the Aatrox 10 behind with a kill. That's great. 0 IQ is players pressing 0. Yeah, shut up. Shut up. Yeah, that's true. So across the map, FPX have themselves decent enough lanes. Now, JDG have a gold lead. They've got a CS lead in the bottom lane. They've got CS lead in the top lane naturally. And Kindred does have a kill. So while ahead in the jungle matchup, like, I wasn't really taking into account the kill there, so I apologize about that. But Tien still has the majority of, like, a CS lead. He's denied marks because of this early game control. So Kindred is up with gold with the Gragas, but not up with stats in where she would be if she had that control like she did in game 2, where Kanavi got those early marks. So he doesn't have the early marks, he doesn't have the excess damage. Now he's going for damage, I should say, attack speed and range, right? I gotta remember that all the full stats of Mark. So Herald. You've got topside control. Herald is natural. And Tien and Doomby can't really challenge that right now. But they can with this pushing mid and with Kanavi topside. The play now for FPX and in situations like this has been clear mid, dive bot. Doomby has blue buff. He has Kingslayer, and I'm not sure what he's maxing, but I assume Kingslayer would be the max. 1 mark at 10 minutes, by the way. Dive bot. However, at this point, LWX backs. So, FPX don't actually have options on the map. And for JDG, this is just going to put them into a really comfortable position. So bot lane's going to rotate around, but they get turret. They get first turret bonus. They get Renekton into a longer lane. And they get Kanavi more gold. So, in what has been dictated by a jungle matchup, now Kanavi actually getting the Herald was so influential, and FPX not being able to dive bot or have a response push is massive. In fact, bottom lane here is actually just fucking pushing up and got 2 free plates. So FPX are behind 2k gold because they don't have options on the map, when realistically they should. To set up and dive bottom relies on the bottom lane. And so now they try. Because the longer they wait to try and make one of these dive ganks happen, the more dangerous it is to fight JDG. Like, Kanavi is 4,600 gold over Tien's 3,500. That's 1,100 gold now in what was like a 15 CS lead in the jungle, bar the kill. You have the advantage of Google. Yeah. So, that Rift Herald play top has started to really snowball JDG. Really snowball them. And this dragon for FPX is dangerous. But let's look at items. Athene's finished for Karma. Proto Belt for the Silas. No first item here for the Renekton, which is quite large, but he's got the components for the Black Cleaver. Warriors and Runic Echoes completed. Flank TP. Big position. Really big position. And it's 7:05. Do FPX just play this? But did JDG just monkey this? What the hell? So this flank already is great. Now, there's not full vision here from JDG in this bottom side of the river that I'm looking at. Is Karma mid an isolated thing to JDG, or is it popular in the LPL? I think it's isolated right now to JDG because of the this is the composition that played all 3 games with either a support or a tank in mid. But you'll see things like this on RNG as well at some point. Like for teams that are really accelerating team fighting, and JDG do because they love scrappy engages, then mid Karma is a thing, yeah. Aphelios with the ult, yeah. So let's watch first. Aphelios ult misses. 705's position should win them in the fight. He does not slice and dice. He Qs. He gets stunned. He's now useless. 705 flashes over to get the AD carry on LWX. But there's no one else with him, and Loken can't help. So, Aphelios ult, big one. I want you to keep tabs on this, right? Loken went mad wide with the ult. I mean, he was short with it, right? Yagal's not in the fight yet. Lumao jumps forward, gets quickness onto nobody until Doinby. So Lumao does nothing. Yagal here gets turned on because Yagal just walks into fucking straight vision, and really good target selection here from FPX. Lumao does nothing in the fight. Kanavi jumps in and is trying to auto, gets explosive cast away. Crisp takes care of 705. Look at the target selection out of FPX. Like, they were going to rely on the Gravitum ult, I'm sure they were. They were relying on Yagal to help Kanavi. Yagal comes in with greedy pathing, and it's a really bad fight from JDG. Everything is misexecuted. Everything. Pathing from Yagal. Lumao does nothing with his ulti. Loken whiffs his. 705 doesn't slice and dice over the wall immediately to jump on 3 members, slice and dice, to cull the Meek and hit Tien before he has a chance to ult. And be that beefy Renekton that has all the resources for JDG. LWX gets jumped on later, but he has flash. And Renekton doesn't have his completed item yet. So, it's from my perspective, JDG to use the utility of Renekton's stun, he had to go in first and set up the fight. Right? And Gimgoon comes in with the ult. And an Aatrox who got a return kill early is in a decent position. So he's doing so much. And now he's fucking massive. So we have to do 2 things in this fight. We have to say GG to JDG. Because in a game that was running out of control, because of JDG's really good map calls, they just threw this in the air. Did they need to contest this Cloud Dragon? Absolutely not. If they didn't have vision on it, sure. They had big powers, but they hadn't, arguably. I guess the Silas mid kind of changes that. They were in a decent position though. Imagine 705 hits Tien. Right? Imagine the Aphelios ult hits. Imagine Lumao gets Tien. Tien dies here before he has a chance. 705 did nothing. He forces a flash out of LWX, but 705 flashed to get to him. Then he's useless. Let's criticize JDG and say that was the shittest fight they've had all series. That was just poorly executed on all fronts. Kindred ulti was used defensively to save Kanavi in the end. But let's compliment FPX target selection. Gimgoon comes in. Ward spots Lumao. He doesn't show himself, but a lens spots him. Then Silas. Sorry, that's Silas. That's not Gimgoon. Spots out Doinby. Gimgoon, they know he's coming, but Yagal paths that way anyway. Doinby has his own ult from Lumao. The chain CC onto Yagal. Yagal flashes but dies anyway. And then they just run into Baron Pit because look at the dragon helping. And then they go over the wall. They don't need 705 or Aphelios. They're useless after this fight. Not only do they get the mid lane Karma and Lumao, they get Kanavi, who I believe they got a shutdown. No, they didn't get a shutdown for. But they get the jungler who was escalating so far ahead. So, It's like the first game where JDG is ahead but doesn't do anything actively. Like, I get FPX have some good disengage and counter fight, but you have a huge Renekton who can split push the team. Or split the team, yeah. So that was a really bad fight from JDG, but just great target selection from FPX. Gimgoon is now massive. Gold is even. Doomby picks up a kill. Tian gets one. Now, they kind of push it to the extreme and really try to punish JDG, but Tian's the one who gets punished here. That's just kind of a rookie error. That was a... Okay, that was a bug, but... Loken getting a kill there. Okay, that's some kind of retribution for JDG, but that's not enough after that fight, because that fight kind of ruins the game for JDG. Herald's the next thing we're going to look towards, but just all that gold from turret plating thrown down the toilet. Thrown down the toilet because of what JDG did in that fight. Oh. They know they're there. He sees Doomby. Backs off. Ooh. If that hits. So FPX are just grouping up for picks. Back in time for game 3. Hell yeah, man. He just missed the biggest monkey fight I think I've ever seen. JDG just everything to the water. And now Gimgoon in this split push matchup. Have fun. I mean, like, Renekton's still going to be a Renekton, but Gimgoon's in a position he never should have been. That dive early where he trades 1-for-1 with the dive from Kanavi in top lane puts him in an okay position where he should have been absolutely sent outward from the game. And now after all that, I mean, FPX know that with Aatrox TP in level 11, JDG can't take these fights. They essentially need a pick with the help of Renekton. But also, like, they gotta wait for that clock, right? Really shouldn't be throwing things down the toilet with the lack of toilet paper. Bloody Australia. And JDG may have a lead, but now look at these side lanes that JDG have to deal with. Doomby TPs. I guess that's just a group mid and force mid or force dragon. That's just a force dragon. Doomby consistently taking Lumao's ult. Important. He doesn't take the Loken ult. He doesn't take the Mantra Inspire, the shield from Yagao. He doesn't take the Lamb's Respite. He takes the quickness because the chain CC out of FPX with that ultimate makes it so obnoxious. It enables the pick rather than the full-on fight. Which, if it goes long enough, remember, and that space that, again, when Blue Panda was here at the start of Game 1, I said, JDG's composition is about space. It has been every single game. Yagao creates the space for JDG. Their composition is about creating that space and elongating these fights, right? But now, because Gimgoon's such a threat, that kind of gets thrown into the water. Where Aatrox likes these elongated fights. Aatrox likes creating space and then moving in on the chokes with the rest of FPX. So watch quickness from Doomby and how it's used. Crisp is zoned out. And JDG thinking, okay, we got the support. Now, in a good position. But Gimgoon's here. Like Kanavi on the side, zoned out by Gimgoon. Gimgoon has Flash and World Ender. One player. Gimgoon is just the problem, right? Quickness also has nutty AP scaling. Yes, you're right. Very good point. Stealing Moonlight Vigil is worthless. Yes. Yeah, of course. But, you know, my point stands. Like, quickness out of anything else he could have taken. Dominus is kind of useless, apart from the HP. Like, Mantra Inspire, I would say, would be one of the, you know, most important. Like, it's a support buffing ulti. So, Gimgoon just zones him out here. 705 is zoned out by Doomby, who wants to actually go in. So 705's over there, doing nothing. FPX are running for an engage, and JDG are backing away. That's triple dragon now. The second one taken over a fight. Third one out of pressure. And then 705 is still here. He chooses not to back. And he doesn't walk over a ward, but they choose to... Oh. He walks in range enough for this control ward to spot him on the edge. And so he walks back, and FPX say he's still there. And because he doesn't have a time to back, they turn. Now, look at Gimgoon again, right? 4 people on 705. He's dead. But look at what Gimgoon does at the start of this fight. They just can't walk into this Aatrox. Aatrox can deny enough time that FPX will rejoin and it'll be a full ace. So big pick onto 705 who didn't back. Dominus says AP scaling just bad. Yeah, I know it's not the greatest. And so now... What the fuck? That was the weirdest Rift Herald I think I've seen. It just glitched out for a second. And so now, big pick onto 705. A Renekton who should be coming into some of his biggest bit of power. Herald's here. Doomby quickness. Dive, quickness, saved by Kanavi. But Lamb's Respite comes through. Gimgoon front to back. Wow. Holy fuck FPX. You guys watching the same game I'm watching? I think we are. You guys want to see... You guys want to see something cool? Doomby for the dive. Now, Kanavi has ult, but that's fine. Even under turret, Lamb's Respite, you can do the damage towards Kanavi, get him low. And then you're both in similar positions. Crisp jumps forward. World Ender pop now, by the way. The bullet time forces him away from the turret and back, but also does enough damage to put Loken towards kill range out of the Lamb's Respite after healing. He flashes away, leaves. Kanavi flashes as well. Crisp comes in with a Zenith Blade. In comes Lumao. Knock up. Oh my god, the explosive cask. Right. Gimgoon's huge, runs forward. Explosive cast, Tien body slam, and Gimgoon does the rest. When FPX fight, when they decide it's time to fight, it's time to fight. Herald gets another charge. Like, the value from punishing that JDG dragon has rippled through the rest of this game. And when FPX have a lead, they have a lead. Like, they accelerated. Used his E to buffer the quickness. He did. That he did. Cheeky rift in the middle of the wall. That's what it looked like, didn't it? So, you get another replay at this. And you're right, to buffer the quickness, right, Doomby was just super clean on his mechanics there. Chris goes all the way to the back. But the cask is so good with the body slam follow-up. Just Lumao flashes into it, but like... One of the best 5-man gameplay rosters in a while. I completely agree. I completely agree. I think RNG in their prime in 2018, I'd say, are another one of the best 5-man rosters. Like when we had Let Me, 2018 MSI. Uzi, Ming, Xiaohu, MLXG, and Casa was there at that time in 2018. And Let Me and Zatai. So, Kindred at this point is just trying to find, just trying to get towards that third item. But FPX won't let, I mean, Doomby's massive now. Even with the assist, 2 items, is 1v1ing with Dominus. Look at this. Oh dear. He can take this. With Kingslayer, he's fine. And meanwhile, Yigao's just dead in the side lane. Yigao over pushed top. Because he thought he had Kanavi near him, but TM was there first. Kanavi gets zoned off by the bottom lane of FPX. And then... Doomby doesn't even die because... Do we get to see Kingslayer? Are you ready? Oh, we don't get to see it. But Doomby presses W on Lumao and heals and flashes away. KFC sponsors the gold wrap. Yeah, they do. KFC is one of the main sponsors. While they're in team fights, they are super clean, yeah. They're super, super clean. So Doomby's going to die here, but... Meanwhile, all the work just makes a free Baron, and FPX from here. You know. You know, that one fight in front of Dragon, you knew it was over. With a team like FPX, you cannot afford to make that mistake. You cannot miss your execution in front of, like, an objective like that. When FPX's composition around objectives, once again, is built to succeed. Maybe not as easy as, like, or not easy, I should say. Maybe not as clear-cut as the Rumble, but... Just the zoning towards... Crisp is like, just denies Grom. Painful experience right now for JDG. With Baron, they launch it up mid. They set up their side waves. In a 1-4 where no one can touch Gimgoon because he's got 2 items comfortably. Doomby joins, and that's just a free push into top. Tien here threatening the engage up towards the 2 scariest members, you'd say, of FPX. But also, I forgot to mention there as well, and during the replay, I mean, they got a Mountain Dragon. Like, they have a Mountain Dragon on this team, which is already nearly unkillable, just because their front line is so hyper-accelerated. It's like forcing a Baron when you have the opportunity in a good way to win a game, yeah. It's a shame, though, the playstyle that won them Worlds got nerfed in 2020 because it was great to watch. It really was great to watch, but let's see. I mean, how they adapt is going to be important, right? Doomby doesn't die. What ult did he steal, by the way? Again, the quickness. How oppressive is it to verse a Sylas with quickness? Just the damage when he's on top of you is insane. What the fuck? Look at this. It didn't even hit. What? It didn't even hit. But yeah, they can't deal with it. That one fight around Dragon hurt them so damn much. And look, the VOD won't even let it get to the end. It just says, nah, that's enough. Oh dear Lord. Well, I tell you what, FPX, when they have a lead and they accelerate, it is so hard to deal with. Mountain Dragon Soul, perfect control around objectives, and they punish JDG so damn hard. Kanavi got blasted. Yeah, he did this game. I still think Kanavi's like a good jungler, but decision making and 705 this game was absolutely useless. Yagao didn't really do anything. He didn't get to a point where he actually got into fights to use shielding, and Loken didn't get to accelerate. Meanwhile, you have a team that hits this mid game that is unstoppable, that is pretty threatening, even if gold was even. But because it's so accelerated, FPX just one-shot everyone. Gimgoon is 3 levels above 705. Doomby 1 over Yagao and 1 over Loken from LWX. Even Crisp has a level advantage, so... Sylas plus quickness is 3 seconds a hard CC. That's right, with abscond abduct, right? Quickness, damage output, auto attacks, abscond. And it's just so hard to deal with. So, yeah. Look, FPX and JDG, this is a really, really fun series to watch. That's why I wanted to VOD review. I think it's important that you guys all take away that, like, for JDG, they're not a bad team. I just think one mis-execution cost them really hard in this third game, and one moment in game number 1 where they should have done Baron, where they should have delayed out the game and given themselves more windows of opportunity, they didn't. So it's not the shot calling I question. I think it's just more about the consistency of that calling as to who's calling. I mean, I think it's... No, I think it's Yagao. Yagao or Lumao. We've got to look at the stables in this team. The shot calling should be Yagao or Lumao. With FPX, you know, like, we know that that's Doomby. Doomby's the loudest member. Doomby and Tien. So yeah, I really don't like Karma mid unless you have a hard carry top or bot. I agree with the Mordekaiser. I really liked it. With the Mordekaiser, like with the threat of side lane and giving safety to the mid 3 or the mid 4 is really good. But yeah, the whiff was big. And Graviton would have made a big difference. 705 would have had vision as well. Could have made a massive difference. But yeah. So FPX get their first series win. That was a big one for me. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll end the VOD review there. It'll all be available on YouTube as well as usual. If you haven't checked it out already, I appreciate anyone going over and checking it out. Yeah.